Hello everyone, I am Pawan, Cloud Architect working in Azure Academy. Let's see what is cloud computing and try to understand by taking an example with the physical world. We'll take an example of basic necessity of human beings, that is food grains. If we go to a grocery store, we can directly go and buy food grains, buy a wheat bag consisting of food grains. Imagine what could have been the scenario before 100-200 years. Our ancestors might have maintained pair of bulls and plow and axe and had to grow wheat. Means they had to maintain the infrastructure needed to grow wheat and also bear the costs associated with it. Now in modern world, these tasks are outsourced and maintained by traditional farmers whose business is farming. They grow wheat and the wheat is readily available for consumers. When we talk about the same thing in IT, all the IT related infrastructure is maintained by Azure. If a business owner wants to set up IT infrastructure, then Azure can be very helpful by providing physical hardware and all the other services required in an IT infrastructure. He need not worry about hosting and firewalls, etc. Cloud can be very helpful in reducing upfront cost, whereas on-premise infrastructure could prove very costly. We'll introduce you to cloud computing. Cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis. It is as simple as renting a resource. The cloud service provider is responsible for providing physical hardware. If a person is looking to store data, rather than storing in local storage, he can store the data in the cloud and access the data from anywhere in the world. There are 5 main services or components provided by cloud service provider. The first one is compute service. VMs batch services which can be used to deploy applications. Second is storage service. Cloud providers provide storage like storage accounts where we can store project related data. Application service, like deploying storage applications, web applications and development tools, etc. Then networking service, which is related to virtual networks, firewalls. Then analytics service, like data analytics, Power BI, which can be used in Azure. Now let's see about benefits of cloud computing. The main is cost. Huge reduction in capital costs of buying hardware and software. If you are setting up a company, you don't need to pay any upfront costs. If you are setting up company, then you need to get a data center, buy all the hardware and allocate space to set up hardware. Whereas in cloud, you don't need to pay any upfront costs. Upfront costs are very much less than compared to purchasing and maintaining hardware. Then comes speed. Computing services can be provided in short time. Just with some mouse clicks you can get your own computing resources. Scalable. If your business is growing up and you need to scale up your resources, means if you need to increase the capacity of the machine, you can do it easily in Azure. Elasticity. Resource adjusts itself as per the utility. The difference between scalability and elasticity is, in scalability you scale up configuration of resources which you are using, and in elasticity the resources which you are using in your projects adjust to the need. Then productivity. You need not worry about patching and software updating. You can only focus on strengthening your business. You need not apply any patching or maintaining hardware OS patches. IT teams can focus on achieving business goals. Then comes reliability. Cloud computing takes care of data backup, business continuity and data recovery. Then security. Resources in the cloud are very secure because of the policies and methodologies provided by cloud service provider. Now let's talk about cloud computing. We can categorize different types of cloud computing based on 2 wide categories. One being deployment model and the other being service model. Deployment model is categorized into three types: public cloud, hybrid cloud, private cloud. Service model is categorized into three: IaaS, infrastructure as a service; PaaS, platform as a service; and SaaS, software as a service. Now let's talk about deployment model. First is public cloud. Cloud infrastructure which is made available to the public over the internet, owned and operated by cloud service provider. We can compare this scenario with a public bus transport. If I want to go from one place to another, I'll pay the ticket for one seat and reach destination. The cost is also very less. Same is the case with public cloud. I pay for a resource till the duration I use it. Public cloud service providers are AWS, Azure, IBM's Blue Cloud, and Google Cloud. Then comes the private cloud. This is a kind of cloud infrastructure which is completely operated and used by single organization. It is managed by the organization or a third party, but used by that organization only, which we can relate it to a company which has its own cloud and it only uses that cloud, and the cloud can be managed by a third party, but it is specifically used by that company only. So this is an example of a private cloud, VMware. Third type of deployment model is hybrid cloud. Cloud infrastructure which consists the functionalities of both public and private cloud. It gives businesses greater flexibility and more deployment options. For example, companies have some applications which are hosted on cloud and some applications hosted on their on-prem data centers. For example, Azure Stack. We have come to know about deployment models. Now let's see about the types of service model. There are three types of service models. One is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. With this service, you can rent basic computing infrastructure such as VMs, networks, OS from a cloud service provider on a pay-as-you-go basis. You can go with IaaS if you want a VM and have the ability to install your own software on VM and use it. Second one is PaaS. Platform as a service refers to cloud computing services that provide an interface platform to run a program or deploy software application. PaaS allows you to focus on creative side of application development and not worry about updating software, patching and all that other things. Third one is SaaS, software as a service. It is a service when you use a finished product or software hosted in the cloud and access it over the internet. You can access the software from any device anytime with personalized login credentials. Now let's see what Microsoft is offering in cloud. First is Azure. Microsoft Azure is a Microsoft public cloud computing platform. It provides range of cloud services including compute, analysis, storage and networking. Developers and IT professionals can use these cloud services to develop and scale new applications or run existing applications in the cloud. Second is Office 365. Office 365 is a line of subscription services offered by Microsoft as part of MS Office product line. It provides cloud-based software as a service products for business environments such as hosted Exchange server, Skype for Business server, and SharePoint. Now we have covered about basics of cloud computing and why it is used and why it is good for your organization. In the next lecture, I am going to provide you intro to Microsoft Azure. Thank you.